Cash Color Cannabis, a high level of conversation on LivehiphopDaily.tv. You know, if you live in Atlanta and you say you in the West End, you in the West Side somewhere, you up and down these streets, you might have heard chants of power to the people. You know what I'm saying? You might have saw a group of brothers and sisters walking in unity, passing out bags and making sure people understood what was going on in their neighborhoods, giving them knowledge of things going on. This brother right here was part of that group, you know what I'm saying? Proud to say, you know what I'm saying? So I'd like to introduce my guest for the night, my man Judge, New Era Atlanta. What's good, man?
What's going on, family? Peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love, man. You know, you've been here before, you know what I'm saying, randomly. Like, you was one of our first non-cannabis interviews when I started trying to introduce that to my audience. So I'm proud to say that part. And I'm blessed to have you back here tonight. I know y'all been doing some heavy work in the hood, man. I'm very proud to say that. I like to say I know people, but I only got a chance to get to meet you a couple of times. I'm glad to be able to watch you through Instagram. You know what I'm saying? And watch y'all put that work down, because it really inspires me in a whole lot. So let's talk about some of the work you've been doing in the hood and some of the stuff you got coming up over the next couple of months here. Kathysride.
Yes.
How did that originate? Like, where did that come from? And how did that whole movement start off, as far as y'all actually getting in the streets and doing the handouts and getting into the projects and doing all these things?
So the Kathysride program was started in Detroit. Our parent chapter, New Era Detroit, one of their members, Queen named Tangela Harris, she had an idea of reaching the people that we couldn't reach during the Hood to Hood program, which is us going to the communities and the neighborhoods, you know, knocking on the doors, passing out food during that particular program. But unfortunately, she passed away due to an asthma attack. So the brothers and sisters up there in Detroit added on the food element to sort of bring that old school Black Panther type of feel, like we're going to provide the needs for our people ourselves.
Yes.
So down here, we named the program Kathysride after Katherine Johnston, who was killed in 2006 by the Atlanta Police Department during an illegal drug raid of her home. You know, they had got the wrong house, ended up shooting into her house, killing her, when it was really, I believe, a house the next block over that they were trying to get.
Okay.
So in honor of her, we decided to name the program. We started to name the program Kathysride, and from November of 2016, we've been going out to all the communities, on the trains, on the buses, and then set up in the community, passing out food, passing out clothing during the wintertime. Just a program that's really about building trust with our people. Yeah. You know, we want to build the trust with them and let them know that there's someone in the city that actually cares about them, and that, you know, wants to see them succeed, and, you know, just wants them to see them fed. Something as simple as that can change the mindset of people. So that's really the origin of the Kathysride.
That's what's up, man. And how long have y'all been doing that down in Atlanta? Hey, can somebody get the door downstairs?
We've been doing the Kathysride program since November of 2016.
Yeah. You know, the realest thing I feel like that y'all do when you do the Kathysride thing is you go person to person. And I feel like what we don't see a lot in a lot of areas, from politics to activism, is people actually going out and meeting the people they're saying they're supposed to be working for. You know what I mean? You often talk about them, you don't actually go out and meet them. I think the most honorable thing is y'all go out and meet them hand to hand. Now, I'm sure you get met with a lot of resistance, even from, you know what I'm saying, people who just trying to walk up to and just trying to bless. What's it like going out in the streets and actually speaking to people like that? And how do y'all get past the fact that you are going to run into people who have some kind of opposition to what you're saying and what you're trying to build?
Well, me as an individual, I grew up a part of a religion that we had to go door to door every single morning.
Was you Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah. So I was, you know, I'm already used to that aspect of, you know, people slamming the door in your face and not wanting to hear what you have to say. So, you know, that aspect wasn't, it wasn't new to me. So I just brought that same mentality into what we do with New Era. But, you know, going out, we have to, we in New Era understand where a lot of our people's mind is at. You know, we automatically have a venom towards each other. So what we do is we come in peace and love. That's our main ingredient, peace and love. And what that does is that kind of diffuse the person, like, okay. So they're more open to hear what we have to say. And then we got that bag of food. We ask them, you know, we got so-and-so, such and such, would you like some? If they say no, they say no, but we still offer them a card, so that way we can still have that line of communication. Yeah. So it's really just about knowing where your people at. And I think that's where a lot of, like you said, the politicians and, you know, celebrities, they fall off because they assume the mindset of the people. instead of assuming, why don't you just ask them?
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Or just pay attention to what they're going through.
That part.
You know, during their daily life, because we going through the same thing. Just because we out there doing something about it, don't mean we're not affected as well. So it's just about relating to the people. It's really that simple.
That's what it is, man. Has it been hard to recruit other members for New Era Atlanta? Because again, what you're doing is unique. You know what I'm saying? Be completely honest with you. Like, you have a skill set where you don't fear going door to door, fear meeting people, or fear going out and just doing that. A lot of people nowadays, you know, from older generations to younger generations, have more of a mentality of I'll talk about it, but I ain't trying to go do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it hard to find people and then keep them on?
It's very hard. I have learned that a lot of people would rather just talk about the solutions, instead of actually going out and doing something about it. You know, it's easy just to be up in the crib and be on Facebook and Instagram typing about, oh man, they killing us, they shooting us, oh man, it's another shooting down at the project, instead of going out and seeing, well, what can I do about it? You know, so it is a challenge, especially in this city, because I notice a lot of us, you know, we'll come out to marches and we'll come out to rallies, or we'll come out to parties. But when it's consistent work, like real work, like you're gonna be picking up trash, you're gonna be passing out food, you're gonna be engaging the people, that's something that I find is very challenging to get people to get on board with. But you know, that don't stop whether we out there with 3,000 or 3. You know, the people will be touched, no matter what.
That's what it is, man. So what y'all working on next? Like, what's the next action you have planned?
So before we get into what happened next, want to talk about this very successful Southern Explosion Conference we just had.
That just happened. That just happened this past weekend. My bad. Yeah, talk about that.
It's all good, man. So Friday, down here in Atlanta, we was at the Four Seasons Projects, man, and our Detroit chapter, Chicago, Cleveland, Birmingham came down, and you know, we were in that particular area. Forest Cove Apartments is the actual name of it, and man, we just spread love. It's that particular area has so many children, and for them to see 20 or 30 black people, especially black men, come down their breezeways and come down their blocks to see all of us playing basketball with them and picking up trash, that was very powerful. You know, and then later on that night, we had a very, very powerful conference where we had a panel discussion with all the presidents of the chapters, and we were just going over our programs. And the next day, we did the exact same thing in Birmingham. I was going to say Birmingham, California, in Birmingham, Alabama. Was very powerful, man. It's nothing like having the whole collective and the whole movement. See, that's the main thing. I want people to know that this is not just something we're doing here in Atlanta. No. That on Saturdays, when you see us out passing out food, there's somebody in Detroit doing the same thing at the same time. Someone in Cleveland doing the same thing at the same time. Somewhere in Birmingham, and now we just opened up our DMV chapter. So now they're in DMV, the DMV area, Washington D.C., doing the exact same thing. Right. You know, so that's something that's very powerful, and you know, was brought a very strong jolt back to me, and now I'm recharged, I'm refocused, and ready to move on to the next thing. Speaking of the next thing, of course, we have our hood to hoods every single Saturday for the rest of the summer. So that's something that anybody that's willing to volunteer, donate, that's something that you can be a part of. Just know every single Saturday, like clockwork, we're going to be in a different community, a different neighborhood in and around the city of Atlanta, knocking on doors, spreading love and unity to our people. Next major thing we have coming up as far as the Atlanta chapter, we just got into Sylvan Middle School, so we'll be starting our male mentorship and female mentorship programs at Sylvan Middle School.
Can we applaud that? Can we applaud that? That's actually solid. Yeah, we need that. We need that.
Yeah, thank you. So we about to start that, and have a brand new program we just pioneered down here in Atlanta called the Build Black Tours, and what that is, we're going to be taking and bringing in black entrepreneurs into the school system and having them teach small brief seminar on the science of how they run their particular business, so that way we can get the children out of a mind state of let's just be employees into let's be entrepreneurs, and they'll have real examples that they know personally through this program that they can reach out to for mentorship and guidance. So that's something major we have coming up.
Let me, the main reason I wanted to applaud that, one, again, is the action. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, I look on Instagram all day and I see people who call themselves woke, and I'm like, I see you in the streets, and not only are you not active, you half the person, you know what I'm saying, that you portraying on here. So it's really, we need more of an actual physical image and a physical action going on. And when you say putting black men in a place of mentorship, we need that. You know what I'm saying? We in a place right here where I'm watching brothers, and I'm watching, it's sad, veer away from responsibilities. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to our community. This isn't something to just pass off. I see it a lot with athletes. There should be no reason why I'm seeing high schools struggle for money when these high schools churned out NFL players. You know what I'm saying? And y'all come back for homecomings and come back for parties, but don't ever go in your pocket and say, let me help where I came from.
Man.
Bro, it's hard to see, man. So I definitely want to applaud y'all for that, because putting that image out there is very important. You know what I'm saying? And I know, again, you gotten a whole lot of blowback for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure you have, trying to go through these schools and things like that. When it comes to setting up these like situations like you got with Sylvan Middle, how hard is it for them to go past what they might feel like is a negative and get to where the positive you're trying to get?
Well, we kind of lucked up with Sylvan, because the principal, whose name is eluding me right now, shouldn't elude me. I believe his name is Dr. Portier. Very, very, very good brother. He's actually from Miami, and he grew up, in the rough parts of Miami. And me, growing up here and growing up in Florida, I could relate to him. So, when we brought the program to him, he was very, very receptive. Telling him we about to work with y'all problem students, and work on leadership and power, just things that men should know and that all future leaders should know. So once we got them on board with that, it was really just as simple as setting up a date. Of course we have to tweak certain things. We can't be as I don't want to say liberal, but we can't be as unapologetic as we would if we was out in the streets. But most definitely, we are bringing that same intensity, and we are bringing that same strength as far as teaching them about what they need to do in their community, and just the principles and basics of leadership in the black community. So this was a very, very, we like I said, we lucked out. We lucked out big time.
Well, that's a blessing y'all lucked out, man. Hopefully, okay.
I can't remember what part of Miami he's from.
I'm from Liberty City.
You from Liberty City?
He's from that hood. Yeah.
Okay.
Still to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? I feel like that only black people do. Not even knocking you. I just thought when you said it popped up. We pride ourselves on poverty. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Because I caught myself even earlier today saying that, like, I'm from Mattapan. You know what I mean? I grew up in Boston. I remember we used to call it Murder Pan. And I slowed myself back, like, bro, don't be proud of that. You know what I'm saying? That we know that. You know what I'm saying? And also,
I think that it's we should start doing that, but I can understand why we do that. Yeah. It's like, we made it. Yeah. Like, we ain't dead, so it's kind of like a survival thing. Like, you know what, I done came out of that. So it's like it's kind of like a battle scar. Like, we talk to the you talk to the sergeants and the retired vets. They show you all they war tattoos. Like, I was in this battle. I feel like that's the same thing,
bro. That speaks to our PTSD we go through in these every day that we never get diagnosed with. That we remember shit like that. You said it's a war wound. I could tell you first person I know who got killed. You know what I'm saying? Like it was yesterday. But again, I'm blessed that you was able to come through. If anybody wanted to connect with New Era, wanted to volunteer, wanted to just even give anything to y'all, how would they go about that?
Okay. Before I move on to that, speaking of Miami, August 17th, we will actually be in Miami, Florida. The whole New Era Nation will be starting our New Era Miami chapter. We have a guest speaker whose name I cannot remember, but he's a very prolific brother that talks about the gun rights with the children. So very powerful brother. But we will be in Miami, Florida, August 17th, starting our newest New Era chapter. So that'll put us at 7 chapters nationwide officially. So that's something we have coming up. If you want to get in contact with New Era Atlanta, you want to reach out to us, or you want to volunteer or donate water or things of that nature, you can contact us. Our phone number is 404-692-3255. 3342. That's 404-692-3342. That's our phone number. Our email is nearecruit@gmail.com. And of course, you can reach us on Instagram at New Era Atlanta, Facebook, New Era Atlanta, and Twitter, New Era_Atlanta. Follow our moves, see what we're doing. You know, you can like the pictures and comment. We want you to do that. Also, go to our YouTube page and follow our videos there. You know, watch our content, see what we're doing, see the moves we're making, but don't just look at it as entertainment. Yeah. Look at it as inspiration for you to get up and actually come out and join us, because we definitely need some more brothers. You know, because we will be restarting our community patrol program. That's something that's a program I personally love, because we're not just saying, oh, we need to go out in the community and we need to protect our streets. Oh man, all the pigs, the police, man, at the police. Nah, instead of whining about it and complaining about it, we got up and we actually did it. You know, and we was on Fox 5. They came out there and displayed what we did. But we don't do it for the cameras and the lights. We do it because it's something that needs to happen. And eventually, we want to be able to wane our community away from the established police system, and what's the word I want to use? We want to be able to put our own system in place where we're patrolling ourselves. Yeah. So you ain't got to worry about getting your behind whipped, stop and frisk, or police pulling you over for a broken tail light, killing you. Nah, it's gonna be policing on our terms with our own people. So just something simple as that was our Streets is Watching program. So like I said, we definitely need more black men. Yeah. We definitely need more black men that's willing to stand up and do right for your community. When I was out there, I tell the brothers, if you want to smoke and do all this, do what you want to do. But while you smoking, man, walk around the corner and make sure the little jits is all right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They not fighting, or the girls out there, getting their head busted by these little boys. It's all about integration. Yeah.
And not being scared,
not being afraid.
And I want to run this over, but growing up, the realest memory I have of my pops was we in Mattapan Square. We was waiting for the bus. We sitting at the bus stop, and these kids came over and they started tagging up the bus stop, right? Yeah. And my pops, I'm sitting there, I was like 5 years old at the time. My pop stops them and goes, "Yo, my tax dollars pay that, and this is our neighborhood. Why you tearing this up?" And I remember being shook. Like at 5 years old, I remember thinking like, "Yo, everything's about to end in my life." And I remember them putting their pins in their pockets and walking away. Yeah. We need more of that. You know what I'm saying? We need more of yo, check, like you say, check them. It's perfectly fine for you to do what you do, but you got to make sure that everybody around you is on their ding and on their square. You know what I'm saying? And being for real with it. That we have to no longer sit back and watch problems happen and expect them to magically get solved through politics, through laws and all that stuff. I ain't never seen a law ever make us equal. And I ain't never seen a law ever justify some of the nonsense I see that goes on in our communities every single day. The only thing that's going to help that is when we get active.
The main thing that we teach and preach in New Era is we can talk about rights all day long, civil rights, human rights, but the thing that we focusing on and what our main goal is to put our people back in power, because the people in power determine what's right, what rights you have. I know this is a podcast mainly talks about, marijuana, things of that nature, and the legalities, but if you were in power, you wouldn't have to go through all that, because you have the power to make it legal. Yeah. You have the power to reduce the legal ramifications that it has. Yeah. So all things always come back to power. Power only respects power. Yeah. So we have to move in that manner. Stop trying to ask somebody to feed your children. Stop trying to ask somebody to patrol your communities. Get up and do it yourself and put yourself in power and put your children in a position of power. Yeah. And that's what New Era Atlanta is all about.
That's what it is. Well, brother, I appreciate you coming through tonight. Hey, Jabbar, we appreciate you coming through tonight, man. We got to get to our next guest in a second. But I appreciate you coming through and speaking about New Era Atlanta, man. You always got a platform here. I definitely support everything you're doing. And that's Cash Color Cannabis, high level of conversation. Yeah. Let's take these pictures real quick, man.